Hey, how y'all doing? Icarus here with the FPVnoobtube. Today I have a video about a new quad that I've been flying. It is the Hyperfloss from PyroDrone or PyroFlipRC.com, and this is a 3D printed pod from pb3dcreations.com, and I want to talk a little bit about why I love this pod, why I love the frame, and a few things that I don't like about the frame and stuff like that. A couple things first. One is I would like to send my condolences to the family of JC Culpepper, or Project Blue Falcon. He passed away a few days ago, and I chose personally not to make a whole dedicated video to my feelings towards that. I spent a lot of time watching his videos, as well as a lot of people did. A lot of people in the community did, and I learned a lot from him. And it's just different, you know. Everybody deals with this stuff differently. So a good friend of mine from the community got to go to his funeral yesterday and his memorial service, and that made me feel amazing that I was at least connected to him in that way. And the family was completely surprised, completely taken aback by the impact that he made on this whole community. He impacted tens of thousands of people, and they really got to feel that during the service. So moving on from that, I would like to get on a wholly different note. So rest in peace and fly high, brother. So I would like to thank DroneLogic for hooking me and a bunch of other people from the community up with a awesome group buy on Dow props, not just Cyclones, but any Dow prop pretty much. And I got a huge bag of Dow props. I've got the Cyclone 5046s in clear. I didn't even know you could get clear until they told me I could, so awesome. I only fly clear props, by the way. I'll tell you why later, not in this video though. So let's get into why I like the Hyperfloss from PyroFlipRC.com. It is super light. So most people that I've seen posting on the Facebook page and stuff, they're like in this contest. They're trying to get lighter than 200 grams or whatever. I don't know what they're trying to do. Used to it was 250. Now when the Floss came out, everybody's trying to get lighter than 200. But usually around like 250 grams is an average weight for this quad, dry. You could get 250 grams with a battery if your quad's going to weigh closer to 200 grams and you're using something like the PyroDrone 1000 milliamp graphene batteries from PyroFlipRC. These are actually rebranded tattoo batteries, by the way, but they're really good. The frame is cheap. You can get it for about 40 bucks, and the arms are replaceable. You can get 5 of them from the website for 10 bucks, so awesome. That being said, the frame and the arms are super duper durable because the frame and the quad is light. So some sciencey stuff in there somewhere probably, but the less mass your quad is going to have, the less damage that's going to be done to it when you crash, compared to a heavier quad. If this was fully built, crashes, you break an arm, your components on the inside are going to take quite a jumble. And they're going to be pretty mad that you crashed. So, and also I do have a few things here. I want to show you a couple different things. This is a slight stretch design. So I've got a regular X versus a slight stretch. I would lay them on top. You can kind of see the difference there, guys. It's not a big difference. I say slight stretch because if you compare it to something like this, which is the Vertitech LDX stretch that I really like flying, this guy is going to be a large difference in stretching for the frame. So really stretched, kind of stretched, not stretched. I like flying regular X's because to me they feel more controllable and more balanced in the air. Something that is slightly stretched or largely stretched, if that's a word, is going to be very stable in the pitch axis, so it won't move very much in the pitch axis, and way more movable in the roll axis. So a lot more nimble that way in the corners, but also very stable in the straightaways. Let me go over a few things that I don't like about the Hyperfloss. One being the original top plate situation. This is a little TPU piece that mounts to your standoff, and this right here is a Foxeer HS1177 FPV cam, I believe. It's not micro by any means, but it's just a regular average sized FPV cam that most of you are used to using. I just had one laying around and I threw it in this build because I just planned on pretty much throwing it around and crashing it anyways. And I was going to test the durability of this. So I want to show you in here how crunched these wires are. These are my ESCs. Now this is my RX wire, and I have it run to my arm. Ideally I'm going to actually run it off the back here. I have an all-in-one ESC here, and I have my wires run from my arms, from the motors all the way down the arms back here. This is as low as I can actually push this TPU down on the arm, and you'll see I have about 1/4 of an inch left because this camera is so large. It's actually topped out. It's touching the top plate here, and the bottom of this camera is actually pinching some wires down inside of here also. Now I can get a smaller cam to fit in this build, which is what almost everyone is already doing, which I will be doing, but on this build here I'm more than likely going to be running the run cam split, and as far as I'm sure the run cam split is on par with, I think, like the smaller run cam Swift that's out right now, and not the micro but just the mini. So if I actually got those mixed up or not. Besides the cramming issues in here with all the wires and everything in my camera, the protection for my flight controller and all the other components, see, I've got wires. These are actually my ESC wires, run from my all-in-one ESC to my flight controller. These are just out in the open, alright? And the design of this top plate is made for minimalistic purposes. It's supposed to be light, and it's supposed to keep the quad together. It's not necessarily built for protection of very much. So I am going to put on the pod and show you why I really like it. Get this off here. The little screws that came with your camera, you can pretty much just set these aside because the pod from PB3D Creations actually came with their own. They're a little bit longer, and they use a 1.5mm head instead of a 2mm, so you're going to want that as well. Alright, so my camera's installed. You can see I've got some room here for my camera tilt. I would also like to mention that they do offer 2 different types of pods for the size of hole that you're going to need for your lens. So if you're using like the micro lenses for your micro cams or anything like that, you want to order that. If you're going to be using, or if you're not sure which kind, you're going to be using a larger lens or a larger camera, then you get the one that states that accordingly, which is what I've got here on both of these. Now besides that, guys, I'm not too worried about my wires here. I'm just going to push them down because they're not going to be pinched as bad as before, and they have the same mounting holes here, here, and in the rear. I'm going to show you guys my VTX mounting solution. This is just like a little stubby circular polarized that I do not even remember where I got it from, honestly. Most people are using dipoles on here, but this little carbon piece actually came with the Hyperfloss, and it is meant to hold it down here, which I don't like, so a lot of people also don't like that, and they mount it up here. Get a little bit longer screw than you would normally use for the carbon T, since you're going to be going through this 3D printed material. It seems to be about the same thickness, but it's got a little curvature to it, so I wanted to overcome that. And I just put mine right on top like that. So to summarize, the camera is going to have a lot more room to move around, a lot more mounting room in the pod versus just using this little flossing toothpick guy here with the TPU mounts. Okay, the difference in weight is only going to be about 2 grams. So this is 9 grams, and then the T or flossing thingy here with this is going to be 7 grams. So a difference of 2 grams. You don't get any component protection with this on top versus the whole pod. Okay, there is not much that I don't like about the frame. So yes, the design for the top plate is very minimalistic, but it was intended to be so, and this is just an added perk if you want to purchase this. pod. I will put the link and the price in the description because I cannot exactly remember it right this second. But this is from pb3dcreations.com, and I forgot at the beginning of the video to thank Patrick because he hooked me up with 2 of them because the order got mixed up and the color was wrong on the first one. I got this awesome teal color. It is slightly strange and hard to put together, so if you'll notice, the flight controller stack actually sits slightly on top of this arm, and then you have to use a large spacer in the front to match the thickness of your arm here, and it sits on top of this nut. It's quite different. You won't have much room for your flight controller stack as you usually would if you're used to like a freestyle quad or something like that. It's meant to break, and this is per Bob Ruge's words, the creator or the designer of the frame. He says that it is meant to break specifically here. So if you do crash pretty hard, either one of 2 things is going to happen. Your arm's going to snap here, and you just boop, boop, undo these 2 screws, take your motor off, and replace it in the field really fast. Or if you impact from the front, whoom, these 2 screws down here are going to sear off and snap, and your arm's going to fly back this way. So it's going to lever this way, and you're going to just take these screws out and replace those 2 screws and then get back in the air. So that being said, that is similar to like a crumple zone on a car or a minivan. They are supposed to crumple in the front to protect the insides and the rest of the frame and you because you're sitting in it. But we're not sitting inside of these things. One more con that I forgot to mention about the Hyperfloss in general, and it's really not that big of a deal because you should be checking your screws all the time anyways before you fly, but just for instance, I crashed a couple times yesterday, and you can see that my arms already have give in them. That's not a super big deal, but it kind of is, and I'll show you why. When I tried to arm this quad a couple days ago, with the arms really loose, I armed it and it did this. Yeah, that's not good. Your quad's not supposed to do that when you arm your quad. So I picked it up and I realized, I freaked out at first and I thought there was something wrong. I realized my arms were loose. So first thing I tightened my arms, I armed it, and it armed fine and I flew around. So really strange, really weird thing that I didn't know that quads did. If the arms are loose, then they just take off like a bat out of hell. So make sure that you tighten your arms, use Loctite, whatever. I mean, I'm already using lock nuts on here, the ones that are provided. So, I mean, I don't really know what else you can do better, but besides just making sure you check your screws and stuff. So, just like I said, guys, a little explanation about why I like the Hyperfloss, why you might like the Hyperfloss. Right now, this thing is like racing's best kept secret. They're selling really well, but a lot of pilots that I know, like all the racers that I know, are using the Hyperfloss, and they do not want everybody to know about it. At this point, it's too late. Everybody knows about it. Get yourself a Hyperfloss. They're cheap, they're sturdy, and yeah, they're fun to fly. These things are super light, and they probably deserve being a whole class of their own. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video that I had for you today. It's not something super serious or informative or really meaty, but it was just what I wanted to talk about right here, right now. I will be recording in a couple days with Nurk from DRL, Paul Nurkala. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. We're going to be doing a podcast. He's going to be on episode 3 of the FPVnoobtube Quadcast. So if you guys have not seen that already, I will put a link to the description. We are on SoundCloud. Soon, pretty soon, we're going to be hosting it on the official website for the FPVnoobtube, but that's not ready yet. Also, if you have not already joined the FPVnoobtube Facebook community page, definitely check that out because we have a bunch of awesome guys over there. We share all of our knowledge and experience and pictures and fun stuff like that. We have contests and giveaways, so that's fun. But, yep, I don't think I have enough time left in the video. We'll see. If I have enough time, I'm gonna put some flight footage at the end here for you guys, so see. Bye.
Something's gonna bring the change. Journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I jumping